because we got the boxing aficionados here.
Oh, yeah.
If you would do me the honor, Tracy, could you tell the audience who's just now tuning in how I refer to these two young men when it comes to their commentating?
You say they're the best. They're at the top of the league. They help you to widen your perspective. They look out for your blind spots. And they just continue to make you a wealthy, knowledgeable man in the world of boxing.
Come on. These guys right here, I could call either one of them. I be hitting them at random times, and I know they be like, is Sway okay? It's so random. When I hit either one of these dudes, I'll have a random thought of it. Whoever answers first is who I talk to. And eventually it happens. The boxing bully. This guy is very passionate. The boxing bully movement, rather, is very passionate. It's about really the sweet science of boxing. It's about those little things that people call boring that is truly exciting to someone who really knows what's happening.
Right.
It's like watching a great chess match and you barely see them move.
The fine details.
You know what I mean? The fine details. You could see just in a feint, just in the feint that a boxer may give, you may learn how sophisticated their thought process is, their ring IQ. And these are the type of intricate nuances of boxing that very seldom got pointed out or explained in a way that the simple layman could understand it. It's kind of like politics in a way.
Right.
Right. It's a lot of, gerrymandering and all these different terminologies that your average person may not be aware of. Mm-hmm. But that's what makes politics so fascinating, because it's just an endless vault of information, research you can do to really you can never learn it all. Right. And that's the thing with boxing. You can't ever learn it all. Yeah. These guys will be excited whether they're calling a fight against Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. or two boxers you never even heard of. These dudes are just as excited if they're talking to a unified champion as they would be the loser. And so I want to welcome them to the show. I want to welcome them back to the show. We've been doing this for a long time. I'll never forget the first time we sat down in Vegas and they invited me to be a guest on their show. And we just knocked that shit out the box. We revolutionized the way this thing could happen. And look at them now. They're at the forefront of all. They're the vanguards. They're the pioneers. They are the originators. Give it up for the one and only Aoki and Barak from the Zone. They're bang!
Welcome back, fellas.
Wow, what an introduction.
It's tough hearing all of that. I don't think we really live up to any of that right there. I really don't.
We don't deserve that. He's the GOAT of introductions. My goodness. This guy will make you feel way better than you.
And we was broke until we did that show with you. So we want to let you know that.
Now look at his jacket. Barak, what is that? What kind of jacket is that for real?
I have no idea.
Well,
Coach.
It's a coach. I have no idea, man. It's Coach. In case you was wondering, this is the difference between Barak and Aoki. Barak got on a Coach jacket. It looks really expensive. And then Aoki, what do you have on?
This is Levi's, man.
Sturdy.
Regular stuff.
Yeah, original masculinity.
Okay, yeah. See him this weekend, though, in Vegas.
In
the
Vegas?
Canelo fight.
Your beard,
see what he got on then, I bet you.
He been stepping up into the beard rankings now. You never was really ranked for your beard until recently. I felt.
I've been ranked for my beard for quite a while now. I was the beard king. I started this
the
thing.
beard king, but then when I came through, it's like they forgot he had a beard. That's what it was.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. They thought he had a goatee.
Okay, all right. Okay, both of these men are boxers, right?
No, I was a martial artist.
I'm a former
most of
fighter.
my life.
You're a former fighter.
75 amateur
Are you
fights.
ever a former fighter, bro?
Oh, that's
Not
a good
really.
question.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I would say I'm a fighter at heart.
Yeah.
For sure. For life.
You a fighter?
Wow.
Yeah,
you never. Once you start the discipline, I'm a fighter, bro.
Right.
I might get tired faster now, like really fast, but I'll tap a couple of jaws real quick.
Sometimes my girl reach my face and she'd be like, why? Wwhy me though? Why? And I'd be like, you want me to stop being like that? Like, seriously?
Still flinching, huh?
Yeah.
All right, man, it's good to see you. Both of you. You guys have been doing extremely great work, man. It's like I don't have to go to the fights no more. I just watch you all.
Stop it.
I always harass them before a broadcast too. Hey, man, y'all gonna kill it today.
We appreciate that, and I'm glad you brought up the fact that we did that show in Vegas, because Barak and I, we hold that moment dear to us.
Yeah.
Because when we used to host at Sirius XM, for those that don't know, and Sway welcomed us with open arms. We were fans of his, and he loves the sport of boxing. But that moment he helped us get all the guests in Vegas because they just stopped because Sway was on there. Everybody, Stephen A. Smith, not for us. But the way he solidified us in this building and in boxing, we're forever indebted.
Oh man, I love
realest dude in this industry. Seriously,
Yes.
the realest dude. I've never met a person like Sway, and I'm not saying this just because I'm on this show. You can concur. Yeah. This dude, soon as he met us, he was like, "Yo, I want to make you guys big. Use my celebrity. We'll do whatever we can. Let's go to Vegas. Let's do this. Let's do that." And in my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." He seemed cool and all, but people talk in this business. People tell you a whole lot. So I want to be honest. I was like, "Yeah, okay." I know you mean. I know you mean well, Sway.
Right. Your intentions are in
That
a
joker
good place.
came out to Vegas for us and didn't even go to the fight.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like,
Crazy.
Sway, nah, I'm gonna get you tickets. You gonna have mine, do whatever. He was like, Barak, you the only one tripping. I came out. He said, I came out here for y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm about to cry. I ain't never experienced something like that. That's just
It's rare.
unadulterated love, man.
Yeah,
for
man.
real. This guy's special.
Appreciate it.
No, man. It was important because I was just a conduit. I knew what I was in the presence of when we all first met. And, yo, bro, how many people could say, like, they watched Spinks versus Ali on TV?
Not too many.
You feel me? Like, how many people could say they actually watched Ray Leonard versus Marvelous Hagler on TV? My great uncle had me watching as a tiny infant fights in the 70s. I was watching Ali fight, Ken Norton fight. I watched that fight.
Wow.
I was mad when he broke Ali's jaw. It scared me.
So you're a real fight fan. Like, you
Bro,
go back.
This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I was, I was in the Philippines when Manny Pacquiao fought Oscar De La Hoya, even though it was out here.
Yeah.
I watched it in the Philippines.
What were you doing there?
Right.
That's a long
like, I thought
story.
it was
y'all.
here. What y'all
That's a long story, y'all. Don't be interviewing me. I'm interviewing you.
It's not real good though. Yeah.
No, I was out there. Honestly, I was out there with my ex-girlfriend at the time. We had planned a trip to go to the Philippines a year in advance, but we had broken up. But the trip was already paid for, so I was like, "Shit,
You said, I'm going.
move aside. I'm coming with you." And so that's how we ended up going there. But
No, but wait a minute. Y'all still went together.
yeah, she was paid for, bro.
I was wondering, you said
That's
my
interesting.
ex-girlfriend at the time, and I was like, do you mean your girlfriend at the time? No, your ex-girlfriend at the time.
But I mean, I don't have no enemies
true.
with my exes. You know,
Yeah.
I know this ain't boxing. We'll get to boxing, but I ain't got no enemies with my exes. You know, and we had made the trip happen, and it was amazing. And her father was in a service and had moved from the South to the Philippines before he passed on. So I got to meet her family on that side. But
Did y'all get back together after all of that?
no.
See, we host. That's what we do. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good question, though. But it cemented our friendship.
Oh, wow.
So you're
That's
still
what's up.
friends.
Yeah, absolutely. She got beautiful kids, family, her mom, the whole nine. Yeah.
That's a long time.
I don't want to make no enemies because of love.
Right,
You know what I mean? Let's get to talking boxing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is an incredible fight that's taking place. I'm actually flying out there to just kind of be by Aoki and Barak and see if I could catch the crumbs. But our good friend Jermall Charlo, give him a big round of applause. Only one loss to his name, one loss to his career.
Wow.
He's the unified champion.
Undisputed.
Undisputed.
At 154,
At
which is
100
junior middleweight.
Junior middleweight fighting the one and only, the iconic one himself, the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez. Woo!
Crazy.
What a fight.
What a fight.
What a fight.
And they're meeting at weight?
68. That's Canelo's weight class for Canelo's undisputed crown. So Canelo has all the straps at 168.
Super middleweight.
Yeah, Jermall Charlo is moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. But
there you go.
But
What's the but?
So somebody that doesn't really follow the sport and hears that oh my God, you're jumping up 2 weight classes. So you would think that you're fighting a bigger man, right? Somebody that's stronger, bigger in stature.
A Goliath.
Right. But the truth is, Canelo is a very small man for that weight class. He's the type of fighter that should be fighting at 154. You know, he is that small. He is like Terrence Bud Crawford size, right? But he's campaigned at these higher weight classes, even at 175, and has obtained so much success. People forget how small he is. And if you watch the press conferences between Canelo and Charlo, you see that Jermall Charlo is still way bigger than Canelo Alvarez. So the weight factor and the jumping up in weight is not going to play a major part in this.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
But if he was going up and he was fighting somebody like David Benavidez, then you would say, oh, he's fighting a bigger guy. Somebody who really belongs in that weight class. But Canelo is somebody who was in his weight class for years. Champion, he had 2 belts at that weight class, and then decided, I'm just going to dare to be great and move up to 160. He struggled to move up to 160. People were saying he was scared of Triple G. Then he was like, all right, mess around. Let me go up to 168. Well, let me even see 175. Then he wound up getting beat at 175 because weight classes matter.
And he got beat by Bivol, right?
But he did beat Kovalev and won a title at 175 a few years ago. So he's had success even in that weight class.
He knocked out Kovalev.
One shot, 2019.
Okay, crazy. So let me ask you this, and then 888-742-3345, looking for our boxing aficionados. So this fight is up in the air.
It is. I mean, Canelo's a favorite, in Vegas because of the experience at that stage, right? Canelo has been on that big stage since Floyd Mayweather. Even since before that, he's had big fights. So Jermall has to be able to perform under those bright lights. Like Floyd used to say it all the time, like when you get on that stage, it's a bit different. Yeah. So that's why I guess the odd makers are picking Canelo. But when you talk about styles and size, it's a very competitive fight, man.
It's a very competitive fight. Barak, how does Jermall Charlo, one of the things that Canelo does really well is he digs in those ribs. And Jermall's going to be hit by somebody probably he hasn't felt this kind of power so consistently because he sustains his power throughout the fights, throughout rounds, right? Yeah. So how does he – I mean, that's the impact I'm looking to be the difference in the fight. Can Charlo take those punches?
You never know. Probably not. I don't think anybody could take those shots. But the key is not to take those shots. That's what boxing is hitting and not getting hit. And that's what we're going to have to see Charlo do. And he's known for that. But lately, since Derek James, his trainer, he's known for knocking people out. So he's in the inside. He's the one digging to the body. He's the one knocking guys out. But I think styles make fights, and opponents make fights. So if you're going up against somebody who hits like a heavyweight, you shouldn't be on the inside getting hit in the body.
And I noticed you said our dear friend Charlo, so you ride with Charlo because Canelo hasn't been up here, right? Canelo hasn't graced us.
He always do that. Spence ain't come up here, so we rocking with Bud. That's how he do.
I respect that. We're going to have to get Canelo to come up here.
I'm going to call him. I'm going to took him everywhere else.
Now it comes out. Now it comes out.
I had nothing to do with that setup, but I'll tell you this. Next time Canelo's in New York, we're bringing up the Sway.
Canelo here.
I'm a Canelo fan, bro. Well, let me tell you, it is a loyalty thing with me. I don't have to be so accurate with my predictions as you all have because your credibility rides on it. I'm just telling you what I feel. You know what I mean? Like, I got that wrong,
It's not that risky.
Jermall Charlo came on our show years ago before people knew who they were, right? And honestly, I didn't fully know. I just saw them both fight, and thought they were fascinating because they were twins.
Right.
And so I've always supported them. Always will. And I can never have somebody I consider a colleague come up here and tell them, I think you're going to lose.
Right.
I just won't say nothing.
Yes. So that's how you do it when you see a guy losing, you won't say anything.
I won't say nothing. But
it's going to be a good fight.
But I think Charlo can, in the same way, I think Canelo has learned a lot since the Mayweather fight, right? And improved a lot in many areas. That probably was his biggest learnable moment. But I think it was some formula in there how you can approach a fight with Canelo, right?
Right. Well, I guess you would say that Bivol kind of gave us the blueprint, how to beat him, controlling the distance and keep him at bay. But maybe there was factors in that fight where Canelo really couldn't get to him. I don't know. I don't want to give Canelo no excuse. Bivol beat him fair and square. So, but let's just say if that's the case, then there is a blueprint unless Canelo can do something differently.
Okay.
And we're just thinking Canelo can do something different.
With that being said, I agree with Barak. I don't want to take any credit from Bivol, but it didn't seem like the typical Canelo Alvarez in terms of him moving his head and being more active, but maybe that's because of Bivol's style.
Right.
You know, I know there were rumors about him being a vegan during that camp, but he came out and said, look, it had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, we
I
can't
took
do
the
that
loss.
because nobody's doing that for Spence.
But he even said it.
You ain't do that for Spence. Don't do that for Canelo. We can't do that for
But
nobody.
Canelo said it himself.
Said
No
what?
excuses.
No
I
excuses.
lost.
No
I
excuses.
lost. There's no reason for me to lose him. But he did say, you know, he didn't feel like he was his typical self.
So I saw the interview with the Breakfast Club, right? And I saw a clip, brother, where I think Charlamagne asked him about age, right? Is it too soon to ask that question, or maybe is that a factor? I mean, wear and tear?
I mean, he's been fighting professionally since he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? So he's been fighting for a very
18
long
years.
time. So though he's not a guy that's taken a lot of damage, it's not only in the fights in boxing, it's the 2 months training camp. It's
Yeah.
all the rounds of sparring, all the running on your knees. That's wear and tear on your body. But I wouldn't say, I think it might be a little too early to talk age for him.
I think so. Okay.
And I think Saturday night we're going to get all those questions
No,
answered.
you know what it is? It's not about his actual age because he's actually young.
Young.
You know,
Right,
33 years old. It's just that his performance against John Ryder, which was his last fight, people were just expecting him to blow this guy out of the water. But understand something. When you're going up against the best guy you've ever fought in your life and the guy who can possibly change your life if you beat him, you're going to be different than every other fight.
Yeah.
And so we got a different John Ryder who was not getting knocked out. So we judging people are judging Canelo like, oh, you ain't knock out John Ryder.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. So they're saying, oh, maybe it's the wear and tear. Maybe he's been in so many fights or whatever. But it's not like the guy gets beat up.
Nah, he's never
And you
done
got to give credit to Canelo for even taking the Charlo fight. I'll tell you why, because most of the time, a lot of fighters don't want to take, if they're going to take a big risk, it's for a big reward, right? They don't want to take big risks. Canelo is going to be rewarded in every fight. It doesn't matter who he fights, he's going to make $20, $30 million, right? So this fight is actually a dangerous fight, but he's fighting a guy that's moving up. So if he beats him, right, he's not going to get great credit
He
for
ain't gonna
that
get
win.
a lot of
They're
props
going to
for
be
that
like,
one.
oh,
Yeah.
you fought a guy that moved up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even though we know internally that this is a hard fight.
Yeah.
Charlo's a hard puncher. He's very big. He's going to go on on fight night. He's going to be even heavier.
Yeah.
And Canelo is still everything is against him as far as if he wins, he's not going to get credit for it.
All right, man. Look, we got Aoki and Barak right here, the
Yeah.
best in the game right now. We're going to talk some more boxing. 888-742-3345. Aoki and Barak from the Zone right here. The Aoki and Barak show, legendary. Yo, Aoki, citizens. So I got Free Game from Texas, Gilbert from Phoenix, Coden from Virginia, Vance from Chicago. If they want to follow you, how can they follow? Everybody, I need y'all to follow these guys on social media. This is your Inside to Boxing.
Boxing with Ak. That's AK. Boxing with AK.
There you go.
Oh, you didn't say me, though, so
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't
Barak,
know. Boxing
Barak.
Bully. I'm Barak. Boxing Bully. Follow me down Instagram.
You always hear him on the air with Horace arguing.
Oh, for sure. I thought he was going to be. I came ready. I got my gloves down.
You got the he's coming. Tracy,
That's
you want
my
to ask him?
guy.
We
That's
talking
my
about
guy.
the Canelo Alvarez and Jermall Charlo fight taking place this weekend.
Yes, this might be a basic question, but I'm representing for the below average boxing
The casual
viewer.
fan.
Yes, the casual fan that doesn't know all of the stats or terminology, but is entertained and listening to both of you, Barak and Sway. You're like, you know what? I think I want to expand my knowledge of the sport. So there's 2 U words that I've been hearing, and I want to know the difference of. Sway, you mentioned the first, unified, and then undisputed. Barak, you said, what is the difference between the two?
So in this era, there's 4 championship belts.
Unfortunately.
So there used to be 3, and then way back there were less. So
But at
now,
one time, there was 1.
right. So in order for you to be undisputed, you have to have all 4 belts.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you have more than one, you're a unified champion. So let's say you win 2 of the belts, 2 of the 4 is unified. If you have 3 of them, it's unified.
Okay.
But to be undisputed, you need all 4.
That's why I jumped in and said undisputed, because when Sway say unified, a fighter might feel disrespectful.
Right.
Like, yo, my man,
They might want to
I
box
got
you, Sway.
4 belts. I beat 4 champions to get those belts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't rob me of that.
Okay,
That's where my novice come in. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
between
I didn't mean it
Charlo
like-
and Canelo, are they both undisputed?
Yes.
They are, but in different weight classes.
Oh, okay. So that's what makes this so bananas.
Right.
Noted.
So
So
I think it's the first time 2 undisputed champions are fighting each other, if I'm not mistaken, in the 4 belt ever, right, Barak?
100%.
Yeah, even though
Wow.
they're in different weight classes, that they're both undisputed. Even though Jermall is about to get stripped for one of those titles, if not already.
No, once he gets in the ring, supposedly they're gonna strip him on a
Why?
WBO or something like.
Because you have to defend that
mandatories,
title.
there's a policy. You have to
Okay.
defend it against whoever's the mandatory, meaning who deserves it next. But I think it should be some kind of policy when somebody's fighting another undisputed champion. Forget those
Yeah, you
mandatories,
give it a pass.
man. For now,
Yeah, but
one
you
fight.
can't say that, because then those dudes in that weight class that have been waiting for the opportunity and they're ranked number 1, number 2, or number 3, or they're the mandatory. So I got to sit back and wait for you to go up another weight class, try to beat Canelo. Meanwhile, I've been waiting for this shot. So there's 2 sides to that.
I don't care. Because understand that boxing is nothing without fans. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see a mandatory. I think he should get his shot. But after there's something as great as undisputed versus undisputed. We might not never see that again.
Ever again.
Ever. There's no way the sanctioning bodies, which is the belts,
Yes.
can't say, all right, we'll let this one slide. I don't see why. That don't make sense.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
you can't switch the rules up when it's convenient for you. Like, the rules got to stay in
Nah,
place.
don't we
If
always
not,
do
we gonna
that
be
in
the Wild
life?
Wild West.
Don't we always do
We
that
always
in
push
life?
we push the goalpost back all the time, right?
All the time.
But let me ask you this then. So if Jermall have fought, so Tracy,
love it.
WBO, IB, what is it? The
IBF,
IB.
WBA, and WBC.
So look at them as all different conferences, leagues. There you go.
Yep.
And you got a top contender in this league, top
Yeah.
contender in this league. They all trying to shoot at Jermall.
Yeah.
You know, so this guy and from this league is like, it's my time. Well, Jermell's gonna go fight Canelo. What that got to do with me?
Right.
I'm at 154. Let's fight.
Nice.
You know, and so that's what's going on. So Jermall may lose the title because he's not taking his mandatory.
But he's already become undisputed. So he's solidified in history. He was an undisputed champion. So if he start getting stripped for the belts, it's not going to make him any less relevant in the sport.
Right, but doesn't like the popularity and the money kind of muddy up the structure of boxing? Because to your point, Ak, like if there was somebody who has been waiting, has been working, and you know what I mean? In a traditional sense, they would be next in line, but then they're getting skipped by someone else because it would make for, you know, great
Bigger money.
fanfare. Yeah.
But because it's a business. Boxing is a business even
Yeah.
before it's a sport. Now, so
Before it's a wow, okay,
but
it's
they're
a business
prize
before
fighters.
it's a sport.
because before the fights happen, so much business has to take
Right.
place.
I can't look at it like the NBA.
Yeah, no,
where you
no,
earn
no.
your way.
No,
Right.
it's
To
about
answer your
revenue.
question, yes, you're absolutely right, because boxing is not like the NBA. The NBA is an organization, and you can't be a scrub or a bum and play in the NBA. But in boxing, it's different. Literally, anybody, tomorrow you can go and get a boxing license as long as you're healthy enough to box.
Right.
That's what's crazy, and be called a professional boxer.
But at the
so
same-
you're all independent contractors.
But you got to understand that, like boxing, it's about putting butts in seats, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't be. You could have been trained, because people talk about this all the time. You could be training your whole life, and you could have dedicated your sport. Your life to the sport since you were 8 years old.
Yep.
But if nobody's coming to watch you, you can't say, "Look how much Jermall is getting paid. Look how much Canelo's getting paid."
or guys like Jake Paul.
Same, yeah.
That's
'cause
exactly what came to mind.
Jake Paul sells pay-per-views. He puts butts in arenas, like he sells them out. We were just in Dallas when he fought Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
So people complain about how much money he's making. He's bringing in the money that he's making.
They got to look at it like this. He's getting paid by his crowd.
That's what I'm saying.
Your crowd pays you. So if you're not getting paid a lot,
Yeah.
that's
Blame your crowd.
So
exactly.
who's the greatest like silent assassin? Because what you guys are saying, it feels like your personal brand is definitely a requirement as much as your boxing skills, you know what I mean, to get like in the ring. So who's someone that you would say is more of an introvert, but they have the level of skills where they still get a lot of
That's a great
eyes.
question.
I could tell you, first thing that comes to mind is Manny Pacquiao. Even though he recently retired,
Yeah.
he was somebody who never talked crap.
Right.
I remember he was fighting Adrian Broner, and Broner saying all this stuff in his face, and he's looking at him and he's giggling.
Like, come and knock you the fuck out.
He's
Right.
giggling. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
he never talked no crap, but he became an international star
Right.
because he moved up from like 106 pounds to 154 and destroyed people.
Right. I thought about Manny Pacquiao, but there is, the fact that he has a whole country behind him helps. There's a big Filipino community in America, right?
Oh my God! No, it is not.
Yes, there is.
Yeah,
Yes, there is.
Not enough to fill.
No.
Not enough to fill Madison
It
Square
is.
Garden
It
and
is.
MGM.
There
Those
is.
are not.
Barak,
Those are
pull
not
out.
the people.
Barak, pull out.
Those are not the people that made him a millionaire.
Barak, pull out.
No. He said pull out. She's pregnant. She's already pregnant.
Hold on.
Pull out.
No.
Tracy.
I understand there is a big community, but they're not the ones that's made him
Yes,
a millionaire.
yes, they
a big
have.
star.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have. Yes.
crazy.
Yes,
He's
all
no-
the stars.
Who did it?
The Puerto Rican stars like Tito Trinidad, like Miguel Cotto. It's
No.
the Puerto Ricans
No.
made him.
No.
Canelo Alvarez.
All right,
It's
so-
the
all right, so
Mexicans.
let's say this. So let's say
what
this.
are you
Let's say
talking
this.
about?
All
All right, so let's say
I
this.
agree with
Who's bigger fans?
Like-
you say Mexican has a bigger fan base or Filipinos? Who's known to?
Well, Mexico.
Mexican.
Okay, and now I'm saying Puerto Rican
Mexico
or Filipinos?
Boxing is bigger in Mexico.
Filipinos or Puerto Ricans? Which ones?
In what
terms of what?
sense?
What's your
in what
question?
sense?
The same question for
Who got
Mexico.
the biggest fans?
You just answered.
No,
you just answered it for Mexico.
That doesn't make any sense.
But if you just
If we're
answered it
talking
for
about-
Mexico,
if we're talking about
then why you can't answer it for Puerto Rico?
Filipino is bigger than Mexico than Puerto Rico.
In the presence in boxing as fans, Puerto Rican or Filipino?
Did I not just say that the Filipinos aren't big boxing
I want to
fans?
see y'all in the ring.
Yo, Filipinos became.
He's easy to
like
get
right
riled up.
now.
I'm gonna let you know.
And today you can go in a
He's half
barbershop.
Filipino, that's
you can
why.
go anywhere in America where there's a Filipino.
His barber is Filipino. His barber is Filipino. His barber is the only.
How you think my beard looks like this?
He's the only Filipino.
How you think my beard looks like this?
History.
Shout to
In
my
history.
barber Marty. At
How
the
many
legend.
Filipinos are cutting black people's hair? That's what I want to know. Call it right now.
You go to the Bay.
1-800. What's the number? Sway?
Hold on, let's not
All
talk
the
over each
Filipinos.
other.
888-742-3345.
Them lines is
If
lit.
you are Filipino,
Filipino.
you don't pronounce the H.
Yeah. But that sounds a little.
Only
Y'all
Sway
don't do
would
this
know
to me.
that.
Don't do this to me. I just told you I went to the Philippines.
Yeah,
with who?
that's true. That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
If you speak Tagalog,
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
Marty,
if
call
you
up.
know if you love lumpia,
Ooh, enjoy mango.
I know that.
okay, 888-742-3345. Filipino boxing fans, call up.
Yes.
All right, we're going to do this.
And just to answer Tracy really quick.
Yes.
If you fight and win long enough and keep winning, then eventually you'll get your just due
Okay.
if you're not a braggadocious type of person. But it's
Terrence
rare.
Crawford.
Terrence Crawford. I was going to say
There you
Terrence
go.
Crawford.
Okay,
Prime
right, true.
example.
Yep.
And then Spence, Errol wasn't really braggadocious like that, was
No,
he?
Errol's a
not
solid
at all.
dude too.
But it's
Humble guy.
one thing about being connected to the hip hop community that makes you a star faster.
Hey, man, yeah.
And
That's Express
Errol
Route.
was part of that.
Yeah.
Javante Davis is in that community. And
Mayweather.
Exactly.
Yes, Mayweather.
Whenever
Yeah.
you're connected, Zab Judah was one of the original ones.
Huge.
And
So
shout out to
once you're
50
connected
Cent,
to that, you
50
become a
Cent.
star in the black community.
50, in my opinion, gave Floyd that credibility in the industry when he
Yeah.
fought Oscar de la
There was a
Hoya.
show called 24/7,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
50 was on that.
I remember that, and they were hanging out at, they were on the little mobile thing,
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah,
doing
through
that
the
different
house.
thing. And then 50 invested in boxers, so
Yep.
that tie was cool too. Aoki and Barak are here. We can talk in boxing. I know Mike Muse want to jump in this too. Let me go through a few callers, and then Mike, I'm gonna come to you. Let's go to Toronto. Matt, what up, Matt?
What up, Maddie?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man? Say hello to the fellas. Aoki and Barak are here.
Oh man, I got to take a second to plug my boy. I'm not even going to say argue best. He is the best boxer in Canada.
He's the best boxer in Canada. What division?
Well,
He don't know.
actually
He don't
stepped
know.
up for
You don't know,
the
Matt.
title.
Bro, do you know what weight division?
He's fighting middleweight, but he's been fighting heavyweights the last couple fights.
What?
What's his record?
Matt, go back to the drawing board. You can't do that.
Hey,
Do
Matt.
your research first.
Hey,
Google
Matt,
it.
I want
I'm
you to
just kidding.
do your research. I'm going to come back to you, okay?
That
Do
was
your
a good
research.
friend, though.
What the hell out of here.
Shout out to Matt.
Withstanding.
Okay.
Shout out to Matt. We need friends like that. Don't know nothing about you.
I don't think
You shout out my man. Yo,
he doesn't even know
what's his
friend's
name?
Wait. Hey, so Free Game is on the line from Texas. He's a friend of James Kirkland, who was one of the earlier fights that Canelo had that brought a lot of attention to him because of the way he knocked out James Kirkland, who was at one point a knockout artist.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
Speaking of 50 Cent, he was a 50 Cent fighter.
James Kirkland was a 50 Cent fighter. Yeah. Hey, Free Game, turn your radio down. All right, what's your question? Yeah, what's your question, sir?
I didn't have a question. I just want to say, make comments. And I'm really loving you guys, Aoki and Barak, the terminology, the consciousness of it. And, of course, you, Sway, man. You're a legendary pioneer. You feel me?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
So Canelo, I watched Canelo's fight. Even though Kirkland had been through a bunch of things, he was older in his career. I actually boxed with his trainer, Pops, back when I was a kid as well as he did. And, the guy did a good job. But Canelo's is a warrior. It's real.
Yeah.
100%.
I think if Kirkland was younger, still same outcome would have happened with Canelo. But
Exactly.
nevertheless, tough fighter.
Shout out to Kirkland, though. He's a good dude.
I love that guy. You remember used to train him, the woman boxer used to train him.
And Wolf.
That's Wolf. Yeah, so Ann Wolf gets the credit for it, but that gym is actually in the hood in Metropolis in Austin, Texas. And Pops, an old man, he just dedicated his whole life to all of us in the hood. We can come in there and we can box and get out our aggression or just get trained, and he opened his arms up to everybody.
100%.
And he has a couple of golden gloves out of there, including Wolf. He actually trained Ann Wolf as well.
Wow.
Was Ann Wolf also one of the trainers for Creed, and she has a humongous TikTok following? Maybe that's another woman.
I gotta watch. She wasn't
I know she fought Muhammad. She fought Muhammad Ali's daughter and beat her butt.
She never fought.
She was actually awesome.
No, she didn't.
She never fought her?
No,
they never
fought.
made it happen.
They never fought.
We had Layla Ali up here. We went through all of that with Layla. Layla broke. By the way, salute to Layla Ali, man. Big round of applause. If you say her name, that name has power in boxing.
She's a friend of ours too. Great woman.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Retired undefeated.
Yes.
Undefeated champion.
What a way to do it.
Free Game, you a citizen, brother.
Let's swing the monet.
Okay, let me take one more. Vance got a question for you guys. He's in the shy. Vance, go ahead.
Hey, Vance.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Second time caller. What's up, Sway? How the Billy talk, Tracy, DB, all y'all, man.
Nah, me.
Nephew.
Mike Muse in here, too.
Barak.
We didn't make that announcement.
Mike
Muse
I
came
can't
up.
forget about Michigan. Forget about Michigan.
Go Blue, baby.
Oh, damn. All right, go ahead.
So I had a question for Aoki and Barak. I'm a boxer myself, dedicated my life. But, following this fight, you would think Charlo, he's in his prime age-wise. You would think Canelo, a little bit on the back end. So real clean question, who do y'all have?
Well, first off, they're around the same age, so it's not like he has.
Yeah, but it's like what you said. Canelo's been fighting 18 years.
No, I know, but when you say the word age, they're the same age. So okay. I don't think they're. I think Canelo has more miles on him, but he's not a guy that took massive beatings. Yeah. So me personally, I'm going to go with Canelo Alvarez because I just think the experience and late in that fight, there's going to be a vicious body attack that's going to slow Jermall down. I think Jermall will be a threat. First 5-6 rounds, Canelo cannot start slow. He has to start attacking the body early. But it's going to be a very competitive fight until it's not.
Okay, and then it's going to hit a wall.
Yeah,
kind of like the Caleb Plant fight.
Oh, that was a competitive
great
fight.
Comparison.
That was a great competitive fight. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Vance, I don't make predictions, but I could say that it's probably not going to be as easy for Canelo as people think. I really think that Charlo's a smart fighter. Yes, he fights with a chip on his shoulder, but he's a smart fighter, and he's going to go in there, and he might feel that power early, and he's going to box. He's going to move.
Yeah.
Okay. There it is, man.
So what are you saying with that?
He's going to give Canelo some trouble. But there's
he don't
the guy who hits the hardest
safe all the time.
The guy who hits, I just don't make predictions.
So you just don't ever want to be wrong about anything.
No, that's not even why. That's not even why.
That's why.
No, I'm wrong.
I'm gonna take some risks. No, you know what it is? Just so I can say, I told you so. I told you.
No. If you don't make a prediction, you can't say I told you so.
When I don't get it right, I'll be disappearing though.
The reason why he says I don't want to be right, I don't want to be wrong is because you're wrong so much. I seem right. I seem right. So I ain't got to worry about that.
Right.
It's just that I have real relationships with these fighters. He said, check my record.
So do I.
If you check your record, he probably wouldn't have invited you on the show.
No, that ain't right.
Wait,
hold on.
I'm the bully.
Hey,
if he try to diss me, I'm going to hurt his feelings.
You didn't make a prediction.
His feelings.
You didn't predict. You're not gonna hurt my feelings, but you didn't predict that expect that Crawford was gonna stop Spence. I did. I put money on it.
I don't make predictions.
on it.
I don't make predictions. I don't make predictions.
All right.
By the way,
Hey, Sway.
your Vance. By the way,
Wait, I miss y'all when y'all came to Chicago at the Hooters. Next time y'all come, I will be there. I have one question. Where's Horse at?
oh, that's a beautiful horse.
That's what I'm saying. Where's Horse?
Horse is in training right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I kid you not, Horse is in training right now.
Training camp.
I told him we was gonna do this today. He said I got to go to training.
Shout out to
So
Horse.
Horse is in training right now. He's coming. He'll be. We gonna do it in person. He getting it together. So Bridge Business coming back, and Aoki and Barak have been supporting us. And you're going to see the both of our accounts doing some really amazing things. So Horse will be here soon, all right?
Love it.
Vance, you a
Hey,
super
love.
citizen, brother.
Swing 'em on in.
All right,
Appreciate you, brother.
I picked Crawford. People yelled at me. Barak called me. Damn, dude, you real hard with Crawford, huh?
I did. As you should.
As I should. And when Charlo came up here, I said, I'm giving you the advantage.
Right.
You got to go earn the victory.
Yes.
I don't know
I
if you
did.
should have done that, but yeah. Nah,
Like
that
he
was good. That
says,
was
it
good.
doesn't matter what he says.
Now, you talking? You talking?
Nah. Canelo,
Okay.
I mean, Charlo's not a bad pick, man. It's a
No,
good fight.
Charlo. Let's see what happens, man. Mike Muse, you want to jump in?
Hey.
Yeah, boxing for me is all about the physicality and the pound for pound, obviously. But I think this case is so different because both boxers are so dynamic. I'm just curious. I know you don't make a prediction, but who has the most to prove? Because I believe when you hit the wall, the mental kicks in. And so I'm curious between the two, who has the most to prove coming out this fight? One's moving up, one has a left hand that had injury and has a complication. So
Wow,
who
you
has
did your
the
homework.
most to prove?
I think people might be surprised with what I'm going to say, but I think Canelo does. I think Canelo, because even though he's done so much, he's just expected to win. So he has to pull this through. Now, if he loses, they're just going to say a whole bunch of things about, oh, he's washed up, he's this, he's that. Meanwhile, I want people to give Charlo credit. He's a great fighter. And they're the same size. If not, Charlo's bigger.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but it's not warranted. Like, Canelo should not have most of the pressure. He should not have anything to prove. I mean, he's one of the most successful, decorated boxers of all time. Not just Mexican.
Yeah.
Just of all time. So he should have nothing else to prove. But there's always been narratives of Canelo doesn't want to fight black fighters, young athletic fighters. Even though he's beaten plenty of them, people forget about that.
Yeah.
So here's another case that if he loses to this guy, they'll say, see, that's why he was ducking Charlo all these years. So Canelo does have most of the pressure, and he has still something to prove.
I have a question, though, so really quickly about growing the sport. I've always been curious. I just want to get your opinion on this. As we think about young up-and-coming fighters who don't get the shots, you guys are talking about the order and the rankings and all that kind of stuff. When does boxing begin to expand it and get away from the pay-per-view model and actually go off of pay-per-view in order to help grow the sport?
Yes.
I love a good fight party like the most of them. I do rent and buy the pay-per-view, but I'm just wondering.
You come to my house.
I come to your house.
And I
we
pay
watch
for the
fight.
pay-per-view. They'll take the story.
Rephrase that, Mike.
No.
That's
I
very-
just recently bought the pay-per-view. My mom watched it when I was back home in Michigan.
Okay.
As
He's
long
done it
as
once.
you don't steal no fights.
Yeah.
Don't download any illegal streams because that hurts the fighters. That's very difficult. Just to answer your question, who can afford to pay the fighters what they want without pay-per-view? That's the problem. These networks, they can do network deals with promoters, right? But they have a X amount of money to spend, and fighters are going to turn down fights if they're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
So pay-per-view is the only way. Okay, this is what you want. So earn it.
Yeah.
Sell the pay-per-views. So because of what the elite fighters get paid, right? It's almost impossible. Even the network we work for, DAZN, we came into the game in 2018, and they wanted to change the game. Right. We wanted a subscription-based, which we have now, subscription-based streaming platform, and they wanted to shy away from pay-per-view. But it was too difficult, and they had to kind of rebrand and say, hey, certain fights are still going to be on pay-per-view.
Right, Mike. I mean, it's not like they didn't try. Al Heyman tried back in 2013-14, putting boxing back on TV. Like back in the days, Muhammad Ali and stuff was fought on TV.
Yeah, that's why I watched it.
Right, but it's just so hard because people are not investing in boxing like they used to back in those days. So because of that, the money is not there, and they have to charge pay-per-view. Like he said, DAZN tried to do that as well, and they just can't. We need the fans, the poor. We need to stop. People need to stop stealing fights. One.
With the live, the streaming,
the pirating.
But that's not going to happen. So you're going to get pay-per-view. Don't complain about pay-per-view if you know you really don't pay anyway.
I just think at some point the economic model has got to change in order for the sport to grow. I don't know, chicken before the egg kind of conversation we're having right now, but eventually, in order to get off of the pay-per-view, in order to expand and grow the fight, because not everyone wants to or willing to shell out the $99.
Yeah, but those same fight fans will steal the stream because I can't afford it. That means that's like if I'm going into the Gucci store looking at a sweatsuit and I'm like, I don't really like the jacket. I like the sweatpants. I'm going to take the whole thing because people will say, and I'm going to steal it. People say, I don't like this whole card. It's not worth $80.
Yeah.
I only like the main event, so I'm going to steal it.
Yeah.
That's what's ruining the game.
That's true too, but I think Monday Night Football, right? Like I love Monday Night Football with a lot of football fans, but if I had to pay $99 to watch Monday Night Football, I'm not paying $99 to watch Monday Night Football.
The NFL is such a big company.
But that's what I'm saying. At some point, the structure, the economic
you're
structure.
Right. What's going to happen eventually, and this would happen during the pandemic actually, around 2020, what happened was fighters got paid less.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, no, we're not earning money. You're going to get paid less. And that's what it is. I think, since Floyd put how much money he was making out so much and other fighters and just all of their money is always public. That's what I think needs to change. If we can stop that, then it'll be less egos and people won't be mentioning how much they make and saying, "Oh, I want to make what he made." Well, I want to make what
right.
They're not going to stop.
That's always going to leak out.
Yeah, that's
never going to stop.
Okay, this is great conversation
It
too.
is.
By the way, I gotta ask you about a few fighters, and get your take on it. I watched the John Joyce fight. He got TKO'd by the boxer from China,
Zhang.
Zhang, and the way he got
knocked Joe Joyce out.
Knocked him out. And this has been a rivalry between those two.
Yes, they fought once, and people thought it might have been a fluke because Joe Joyce is such a big in stature. He can take a shot, and he's heavy-handed. And Jean is a skilled fighter. Even though he was 40 years old, he beat him the first time, and people said, oh, it was a fluke. So this time he solidified it with a vicious knockout, which I predicted as well.
You predicted
so my record is
your record's
okay.
intact. Barak,
Let me tell you something. He knocked him out in the 9th round, the first fight, and he says, I predicted it as well.
Listen, hold up.
I'm watching this knockout. It was brutal.
Most people were saying that Joe Joyce was going to win the rematch.
I don't know why. I have no idea.
Malignaggi said Joe Joyce should retire. What do you think?
Ooh, I mean, he's a boxer saying that. He should know that that's tough. You don't say that about fighters. You wait and see how they come back from this. But when you're in the heavyweight division and you're getting hit like that and you get knocked out in the 9th round, then you get knocked out 6 rounds earlier in the 3rd round, it's a thought.
I mean, heavyweights can change a fight with one punch. So if he's in a big fight, there's a possibility that he can land a big shot against somebody and still win. But he does at his pace. He's such a slow fighter. He's so slow. It's hard to see him be able to compete with the Furies of the world, the Joshuas or Wilders.
You know why Paulie probably said it? I'm sorry, because he doesn't have defense. His defense is how good his chin was. That's probably why Paulie said it.
It's not too good anymore. Tracy is running that shit on rewind right now. The knockout. Okay, well, let's stay in the heavyweight division. Usyk, right? Fury. People want to see this fight. Doesn't look like it's ever going to happen. These are
frustrating.
Yeah, why? Is it Fury's fault?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Fury's fault.
Basically.
I love him, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
He's out here fighting UFC fighters. And I don't mind one fight.
Francois
Ngannou,
who is a heavyweight
UFC champion.
UFC champion, a monster, standing next to Fury. He looks like he's in better shape.
Right.
But he's not a boxer.
Yes. Just a different world, man. A different warehouse. I mean, there's no way that Ngannou can beat Fury, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But now he's talking about going to fight John Jones after.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the unification bout so somebody can be undisputed, right? There hasn't been a heavyweight undisputed champ since, Lennox Lewis? I mean, it's been so long.
Wow.
All Fury has to do is fight Usyk to make that happen. Usyk has the other belts that he got from Joshua, but he's playing this game about what you're worth and and then at times he says, "I'll fight for nothing," but then you're complaining about he'll give him 20%. I want 80%. I'm the star. It's a constant game with Fury.
But he's not scared, though. We know he's not
scared.
scared.
That's my
Fury's
point.
not scared.
That's my point. Why do you keep playing games? You know he's the heavy favorite to beat Usyk because he's so much bigger than him. So he's skilled. I don't see anybody really beating Fury. So why aren't you making a fight happen? He just like to be in control.
There's a slim chance. He got knocked down years ago by somebody by the name of Cunningham, who was a small fighter, very short compared to him, and he's left-handed.
Yeah.
And now you got a fighter who's probably a better boxer than Cunningham. Well, he's in his prime. He's left-handed.
Might be a fear factor. Might be a fear factor.
Maybe it's that trauma.
Okay.
Maybe it's that trauma. Nah, but you know, Fury, normally he's a gypsy. He's not. He's usually not scared of nobody. You know what I mean? But
So you're saying he's avoided him a little
No,
bit?
it's a slim chance that maybe that's a thought in his head. That guy is just like the guy that hurt me years
Deja
ago.
vu.
Barack said it.
I don't know.
Fury's ducking Usyk.
That's what Barak said. The zone.
Not me.
The boxing bully.
So
The Ak and Barak show.
You sound scared. So you sound scared right now.
All right, so let me go through a few before the time run out. Okay. But since we're in the heavyweight division, I'm never going to count out Deontay Wilder.
No. How can you? How can you with that power that he has?
That power.
It goes nowhere.
And I know
always there, every
if
round.
anybody could beat him, I think it would be Deontay. Even though he hasn't beat Fury. I know he hasn't beat him.
I don't know. I don't know. He lost to him arguably three times.
Yeah, arguably.
Oh, you mean? Oh, you're saying? Well, you know what? The third fight shows that he can hurt him.
Yeah.
At least we know he can hurt him. But Fury's he's just a monster.
Wilder's fighting Joshua though. Wilder's gonna be fighting
He's gonna be
Joshua
Anthony.
early.
Okay.
I thought Wilder was going to win that third fight, though. Actually,
I did too.
I actually thought that.
I
I was
thought he had
definitely
him.
wrong with that. I thought.
Didn't he knock him down twice in that fight?
Yeah, he
in the
did.
same
He
round?
did.
In the same round.
Damn.
Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Who wins?
I'm
And
gonna
why?
go with the unpopular decision here, and I'm gonna pick
Anthony
Joshua
Okay.
for this fight because I think that look, obviously Deontay can knock anybody out with one shot, right? But I think he has to be at a certain distance and a certain range for him to pour out the jab and land that right. I think if Joshua comes with a game plan where he smothers him, he doesn't, because Deontay's not a good fighter on the inside. He's big enough to hurt Wilder. He's big enough to knock Wilder out. And I think he's going to surprise people with this one and beat Wilder. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I don't get predictions, but I can tell you who's going to be the favorite.
Who?
Yes,
Wilder's going to be the favorite. You know why? Not just because of his power, but because he got beat twice and came back and still had that power and still showed that I still have this confidence and I'm still going to be that guy. And what people are questioning Anthony Joshua right now, even though I think he still has it, but they're questioning him now because he's fighting different now.
Yeah.
Which might be a smarter thing. But fans is like, no, but you used to knock people out. Like, what are you doing boxing guys? What are you going 12 rounds for? So automatically they're going to give Wilder the edge.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that fight. I'm looking forward to Terrence Crawford, who is the face of boxing now, versus Earl Spence 2.
Are you?
No, I mean, I honestly, I heard that they agreed to do it at the 147. Is that true?
Well, that's what Errol wants it at 154.
Okay.
And Bud Terrence Crawford came out and said, no,
Did he?
we're going to do it at the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He really did? I didn't see him say
Well,
that.
he didn't say it himself, but he had people on his team. Nelson said it and came out and said the fight is going to be at 147. That's what we fought the first time.
That's something I didn't know.
On the contract and the rematch clause, he gets to pick the weight class.
Okay.
That I know.
And the rumors are that he wants to avoid that fight. He just wants to fight the win out of Canelo.
Wouldn't
and
that be
Charlo.
smart?
Yes.
If we know that Spence wants it at 154, say, no, I want it at 147.
Yep.
It's not like you're scared of Spence. Obviously, you fought him already at his weight class.
Yeah.
But what you really want to do is just fight the winner of Canelo and Charlo.
Yeah.
So you're saying, okay, you pull out because you're the one that has the rematch clause. You're the one that's activating. And if you don't want to fight at 147, if he pulls out, then he gets to fight the winner of that.
Yeah, Bud just wants a huge fight, and he wants to spend time with his kids. He has a lot of kids. He's a family man. He's just building a big mansion and a big land. He's said it before, like he's gonna retire soon. So I don't think Spence
years
makes
old, about to be 36 years old.
I think he would win against Canelo.
A lot of people think that. I think that's the most interesting fight in all of boxing for me, outside of Shakur Stevenson and Tank, which is very exciting for me. I think Canelo versus Bud Crawford is the best matchup that you can make in boxing, especially if Canelo wins against Charlo. Man, there's no better fight.
I always thought nobody beats Bud.
Yeah.
You know, Canelo's a different weight class. It can go either way. But I just that skill set that Bud has is just I've never seen it before.
Hard to go against.
So we all got Bud in that. I know. Y'all can't. Don't even. Don't say y'all ain't got to respond.
Canelo's our guy,
That's
too.
your guy. No, honestly, Canelo's my guy. I'm just trying to piss him off so he come say hi.
He'll be here next week.
I know how he is, too. He ain't gonna come say
With
hi.
that being said, though, Bud is our bro. That's like he's our number one guy always.
Well, it has nothing to do with Canelo or anybody else. I just met Bud early in his career.
Yes.
He invited me to a bunch of fights. I went and hung out with his family.
Yes.
And I'm always gonna ride for Bud. I'm never gonna bet against him.
Right.
I'm not the same as y'all in this industry.
Right.
The other fighter I want to ask you if you know anything about was the one from Japan, Naoya
Monster.
Inoue.
The monster.
The
they
monster.
Call him. He's a monster.
Yo, who is this kid?
He's amazing.
He's been around
He's
for a long
amazing.
time. He's won so many titles in so many different divisions, but I guess he hasn't hit mainstream America because you just
Okay.
became
He's
aware of him.
118 pounds, 115 pounds.
How old is he?
23? No.
He's
He's
in
older.
his 20s.
Okay,
He's in his
very
20s.
He's a young guy.
That's a good question.
He just beat
Stephen
Kubo.
Fulton from Philly.
Yeah.
For Philly.
And there are rumors that maybe he can go up to 130 and fight Gervonta Davis.
No.
That's what people are talking about.
He's too
because
small
he's
framed, right?
he is, but he's so dominant that people want to see him challenged. And the only guy they could think of is a guy like Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis is like a middleweight.
Yeah, he's too big for him.
Yeah, but what about a Frank Martin? Or is that too
Well,
big for him?
Frank is at 135 too.
Yeah.
He's too big. I mean, anywhere
Okay.
is fighting at 118, 120. His last fight was at 122.
122. It's like this. Floyd was great, but you didn't want to see Floyd go up and fight Triple G.
That's true.
Maybe he could have beat Triple G.
Uh-huh.
He could have stayed away, and maybe he could have beat Triple G. But it's just asking too much of a fighter.
Okay.
way
Hey,
too much.
man, give these guys a round of applause,
Yes.
man. I had a ton more questions, but we only got so much time. Akin Barak, the best in the game.
Love it.
Thank you.
The Akin Barak Show, the best in the game.
Appreciate it.
Love.
We're honored
Honored
be
to
here.
have y'all. And when y'all headed to Vegas? Wednesday. I'll be out there Friday night.
We'll see you. We gonna link up.
I'm gonna be tagging along with y'all. Get an extra pass. I know y'all usually get 2. Get 3. Wherever you going, I'm there with you.
Man, can't wait to see you there.
Absolutely.
Maybe get you on the show over there.
Yeah, man. Bring your son up next time. He
yeah,
ready?
Yeah, he ready. He got them bars for you.
Yeah,
He's
that's
ready.
tell him when he walk in here, the moment he come through that door, I'm no longer his uncle.
Okay. I'm gonna let him.
Okay?
Put
He
the
in the
pressure
valley
on
of the
his tongue.
hyena. Let's make sure he knows what that feels like, all right? Ak, how can they reach you, brother?
Boxing with Ak everywhere on every platform.
There you go. How about you, Barak?
And I'm the Boxing Bully. Check me out on Instagram, Boxing Bully. And we have the show called The Zone Boxing Show every day on The Zone.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Download the Zone. Subscribe.
I'm a subscriber. I used to get the free subscription.
Oh, and by the way,
Sorry.
Ring Champs coming
We got
soon.
raises,
Ring
so-
Champs coming soon. Ak and Barak's podcast outside of the zone, something that we're doing really, really big on a potential big platform. So look out for Ring Champs.
Congratulations. I like that. All right.